Alright guys, just to give you a visual of what I've been talking about with this damn motor. I've got my replacement coils on it. Got my gap set. Can't really see any damn thing. Let me see if I can get in there. They're pretty close. Like, I don't know if you can really see the gap that's in there, but it's pretty damn close. I took the milk jug option, cut a sliver out like this, super thin, wrapped it all the way around the coils, and then I put just the weight of my hand on the coil to help hold it flat. Didn't put a lot of pressure on it, just pretty much the weight of my arm basically, just to make sure the coil sits flat. And then I tightened both sides of the coil up slowly to try to make sure it didn't bring it down too hard, you know, and get the gap all screwed up. Then, as usual, which it's kind of annoying, but it's not really too much of a problem, I guess, but once again I have to kind of turn the flywheel just a little bit to slide that milk jug back out. I've set gap 100 times before, but I don't know what the hell it is about this motor, but this motor's just giving me hell. And so let me show you what I'm doing. I'll try to start it without a choke, see what happens. Turn my fuel pump on. I just ran it a minute ago, so it's already kind of warm. It usually idles all right, kinda, with no choke on it. That's with the choke on, so obviously it's gonna run like crap. Running rough, which tells me that it's still, the gap's not set right, so I don't know. I'll give it about 25% throttle, and this is what it does. Now I'm going to give it 100% throttle. See it bogging down. Let go of the throttle. It goes back to idling and it kind of levels out. That's the problem that I'm having. My factory white coil, which is right here, is perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with it. The factory black coil, however, you can see there and right there where the kill switch wire goes on. I melted the hell out of this. What happened was I was wiring this up temporarily, and let me turn this off right quick. What happened to the black coil was when I was getting ready to wire my stuff in right here, my kill wires, I hadn't trimmed them back yet, and my kill wire wound up touching my starter solenoid or alternator or something like that. Anyways, I wound up feeding 12 volts into the kill wire. The only kill wire I had hooked up at the time was the one for the black coil, which is why it only smoked the black coil and not both of them. I was under the impression that the way the diode was set up on here was that if you accidentally fed 12 volts into a kill wire, that the diode would stop it and at the same time prevent power from coming back out, so that when you hit your kill switch and it grounds to the frame, that it doesn't knock the hell out of you basically. Apparently that's not how this one works. The diode on here, it doesn't, you know, tase you whenever you hit your kill switch obviously, but it didn't stop power from going in either. So I mean, it was 12 volts, and a diode on a system like this you think would be strong enough to block that, but it wouldn't be the voltage so much as the amperage that it would be struggling with anyways. So long story short, the diode that's on here is still perfectly fine. No damage to it whatsoever. It never got hot, didn't have the burnt electric smell to it, still tests fine, everything. But the black coil is toast. And it went pretty fast. So that's the problem I'm having with it. I can get a video if need be to show you guys exactly how I'm setting the gap on here, but I'm still trying to find some accurate numbers, and I'd really rather do it with feeler gauges because the business card method and now apparently the milk jug method don't work. I've tried 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, all the way up to 30. And yes, I know I'm not saying it correctly and I don't want to hear it. So anybody out there that knows about gap knows what I'm talking about, with all due respect. So anyways, that's the problem I'm having. I don't know why it is. I think maybe I'm just having a stupid moment or whatever, where I'm just thinking too hard or just not doing it right or putting too much pressure on the coils when I go to tighten them down or something. I don't know what the hell it is, but this thing right here has me stressed out. I don't know what the problem is. So let me show you this. That's how it runs with 2 coils. Take the black one off. Now check this out. Obviously it's running rougher because it's on 1 cylinder. It's on the white coil right now, and I'm guessing that would be cylinder number 2. So obviously it's running rough, but check out what it does with the throttle. Wide open throttle. Then you go back to idling and it idles rough as hell because it's on 1 cylinder. So that's what's happening off the white one. So the only things I can come up with, since my gap is exactly the same on both sides, the only thing that I can come up with is maybe I have a bad coil on, maybe the replacement coils that I got, maybe the black one was bad. Maybe I have 2 good white coils and 2 bad black ones. I don't know. I'm out of ideas. I mean, when I did that, the motor was at top dead center, compression stroke on cylinder number 1, because I wanted to be on the safe side, and I don't mind doing the extra work and being extra if it's done right, or even if it was unnecessary. That's how I've always done it. Just TDC. Anytime you do anything related to timing, just TDC. And to be perfectly honest, I can't tell you 100% if it needs to be at top dead center just to replace a coil. I don't recall ever seeing anyone do it, but hey, I'm human. I could be wrong. So that's the issue I'm having. If anybody's got any ideas on that, I'd sure appreciate it. I've had this motor for a month, and it has a total runtime on it of about 2 hours. I know there's nothing wrong internally with the motor because it was running fine until I smoked the coil. And I've got a fuel filter here. Then I have my electric fuel pump right there, which is only 2 to 4 psi. And then I have a different clean fuel filter here because basically I don't want trash getting in the pump, and then I don't want trash getting in the carb. The carb is perfectly clean. Everything in here is clean. So it's not a fuel issue, it's not an electrical issue, and I'm about, maybe not 100% sure now, but I am at least 98% sure that it is a coil gap issue, but I'm about 2% sure that maybe that black coil is bad. The issue I'm having though is that black coil is firing. I don't know. This is a matching pair. The 2 that are on there are the replacements, and the originals are sitting over here on the 4-wheeler. So I left the factory white coil on first, and then I got to thinking, well, if they have different resistances or if they don't hit the same, maybe that's causing some kind of an imbalance. Racking my brain on anything that I could think of. As long as the coil is made for this motor, it shouldn't make that much of a difference because it's only doing what the magnet on the flywheel is telling it to do anyway. So if your air gap is not right, It's the same thing as your timing being off, or a misfire. I mean, I mean, I get it, you know, but I have never had this much trouble setting a damn air gap any other time. Like if it was a lawnmower or something like that, yeah, just put a business card in there, put a 3x5, you know, card in there or whatever, or, you know, milk jug or anything, and do that. But for the life of me, I cannot find what these things are supposed to be set to. The manual itself, which I will show you, I'm sure you all already know anyways, but just for the sake of being thorough and as precise as possible, in the manual, let me see, in the manual, the very first page, if I can even hold a book, maybe I shouldn't mess with this at all if I can't even hold a book. The first page shows everything. I've got spark plugs, valve clearance, my gap, intake, exhaust, everything is right there, but no air gap, no armature gap. So to me, this book is useless. I mean, it's a freaking small engine. There's not a lot to them. I mean, there's really not. You know, if this was a freaking Lamborghini motor, I'd be like, okay, yeah, let me see the shop manual at least. But this, no, it shouldn't be this difficult just for an air gap. And I'd rather tell you a harsh truth than a sweet lie, so I'm gonna be honest with you. I have a 18 horse electric start Duramax motor sitting right here, and it was also in this 6-wheeler here, and I did the same damn thing to it. Wiring it in, it touched the starter solenoid, smoked the coil on it. But it's a single cylinder motor. I literally put this motor in it, not only because it was stronger and I just liked it, but because I thought, well, you know what? I'm tired of messing with that damn motor. That motor, it's probably about 2 years old, and it's got about 4 hours on it. And I still have all the parts to it, but I'm so pissed that I'm having this issue, and I know it's something I'm doing. I'll admit to that. I'm definitely doing something wrong, clearly. But what the hell is it? I mean, I don't know if I'm thinking too much or what. And yeah, I know I could have done a different job on the wiring and all that, but for now, this is just a throw together just to make sure that everything is straight. This Hustler 6-wheeler here is almost completely done being restored. I have a couple of things left, but I should not be having this problem with a motor this small. I don't see how the hell I can rebuild these motors in my sleep. And an air gap is what's going to defeat me. That, I don't like giving up. That stuff drives me nuts. I cannot stand to give up. I walked away from it last night only because it started raining, and it literally just started raining again. So the engine is all the way back down to ambient temperatures every single time I set that gap. Right now, obviously, it's not hot, but it's about like what you would expect a cup of coffee to be. So I let it get all the way back to ambient temperatures, and then I set it again. To be perfectly honest, I really don't think it's necessary to have the motor at top dead center just to set an air gap. Or maybe that's what screwed me up. I don't know. I don't really see how it would. But when you're looking at the motor from the front, it spins clockwise. When you're looking at it from the shaft, it spins counterclockwise. So I'm thinking, okay, well, if it's spinning clockwise, that should be cylinder number 1, and that should be cylinder number 2. Yes, no, maybe, I don't know. It would make sense because this spins, so cylinder 1 should hit before cylinder 2 because there's only one cylinder. Boom, 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 boom. Should be simple. Apparently not. So, I don't know. Maybe I should just start an OnlyFans and start selling pictures of my feet at this point. Hell if I know. I don't know. So, I just have weird moments where I can walk right out. I know what's going to happen too. One of these days, I'm just going to walk out here and here, bam, okay, done, let's go. And then not even think about it. And then it's going to click later on. Wait a minute, what the hell did I just do? How have I been having problems like this? Your guess is as good as mine. I don't know. Maybe I'm just thinking too much, or maybe I'm just genuinely stupid. I don't know. I don't even care what it is at this point. I just want this damn thing straight so I can finish putting it back together. And I don't know. But it's got me stressed out. Anyways, that's what I'm dealing with, guys. If anybody has any kind of opinions or whatever, well, not necessarily opinions, but if anyone has any kind of suggestions as to how to fix this issue, not you don't know what you're doing, or take it to somebody else, or maybe you just need to hang it up and start dancing on tables. Not, come on. I get it. All right. I know I made a mistake, but I'm trying to own up to it. So somebody throw me a bone here, please.